break, a nice local vacation. It's nice. But this is going to be our last show of the season. We'll be back in the fall. So we'll be back with you guys in September, ready for school. I'm not going to start with my week. Sham, you want to start with your week?
Oh, really? I'm going to start off?
Yeah, sure.
Nah, I'd rather let Matt start off his week. Matt, you
You're
go. You never go.
Wow, I never get to go first like this.
Okay.
Yep.
Right?
Sharing is caring.
My week was okay. I mean, work is work. Shorty doesn't freaking hurt my head. She's very stress free. Spent all day fucking watching Doom Patrol on fucking Monday, so it is what it is and shit.
Say word. My week could have got better. Ever since Tom Holland got canceled for Spider-Man, that shit fucked me up, man.
No,
Disney, why would you do that to me, man? You put a third movie, you teased a third movie for me, and then you're just gonna pull out on that? You better fix that deal. The guy at Disney has said, "Oh, we don't want a 5% share, we want 50%." Yo, he needs a swift kick to the neck, bro. I swear to God. But my week was alright. After besides that,
I pretty much had this whole week off of work, which is pretty nice. I just worked Monday, and I had the whole week off and not back until Saturday. So I'm very excited for that. Besides that, my week was whatever. I procrastinated on the laundry because we're doing renovations. So, oh my God, something is sitting in the washer right now. It needs to go in the dryer, I think.
Sucks to suck. I'm gonna just say that straightforward.
It really
honestly.
does. Well, our first topic for this week, we're talking about a lot of school stuff. So we're going to talk about like life post-secondary, mental health, and then affordable housing for our generation, which is not so affordable. But let's start with this life post-secondary. So you guys wanted to hear like just about our life. People just want to hear about like us making friends, how life was post-secondary. So like, how was it for you? Like, was it close to high school for you? Was it completely different?
no, not really. It wasn't really close to high school because the thing with high school, you're there on a consistent schedule. 6 hours a day. When you have like class with one like specific class.
That's true. You're on like a tight schedule.
On a tight schedule too, and it's like for about how long is school again? Like 4 months, 8 months.
8 months.
Is it 8 months?
September to December, and then January to
May.
Oh
January
no,
to June.
9 months.
9 months,
It's
right?
long when you're in high
9
school.
Yeah.
So in high school, yeah. So exactly.
September to June.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So in high school, you have you know those people, because let's face
true.
facts. In university, you don't have to go to class all the time. You don't have to go to class at all. Some
And in
people,
high school, it's a lot of kids that you know from like elementary or middle or.
yeah. So you already built those relationships up, and it's pretty easy to build the relationships from like new people because you either know those people from other people, right? University, it's kind of different. You actually have to put yourself out there, whether it's like doing clubs. That's what I did. I joined a couple of clubs there,
clubs
here
are
and there.
Events.
I went to the I play a lot of basketball, so every time I'm like up in the courts, you meet someone that's like a good teammate, and you're like, yo, I want to play with you again, and then you build a relationship from there. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's more like you have to put yourself out there. You can't just be like, oh, we in the same class. They'll eventually just talk to me. No, that ain't gonna happen,
How about you, Matt? How was life post-secondary?
Post-secondary. I mean, I'm gonna say this right off the bat, just like everyone else agrees with. I'm pretty sure. High school didn't prepare you at all for what comes afterwards.
Oh no.
Highly ill prepared. I mean, they're teaching me about define the slope as like y equals mx plus b. I have yet to use that fucking formula to find any fucking hill in my life. What is the fucking? I don't give a shit about the fucking degree of the fucking hill. But other than that, like, that's making like friends and whatnot. Going on that topic, like in university, it wasn't that bad making friends and whatnot because, like you guys said, there were clubs. There's other places that you could be associated with kids in a very similar age group.
Or even like group projects.
Yeah, even group projects, like even doing assignments and whatnot. It's just being outside of school though. That's where I could see like the real issue of like actually making friends and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to really like put yourself out there, and if you have work, yeah, I guess you got work friends that you can rely on, but
That's true.
there's still like you still have to like do what you do. It really depends on your interests. Like per se, like if you like cooking and then you take a cooking class, then I bet you'll find like some people that you like to hang out there. Like if you like if you do dance, I bet you find a bunch of dancers that you like. It's harder if you don't have any interests outside of like school and work. That's what I think.
It's true, yeah.
you know. But if you do have like other interests, you know, you play sports, you work out, or like if you go outside of your own house, then yeah, you will find eventually like some people that you like to hang out with. But it's your responsibility, you know.
Exactly.
For me, it was personally like I had a lot more alone time, which was kind of nice. Like I did feel very lonely a lot of the time, but it was like a good type of lonely. Because in high school, it's like you're with all these people. There's so much more comparison. Like university, like I wasn't comparing myself to anyone because it's like you alone are in this program. You alone have to pass these courses. Like
And you alone are getting that fucking paper with your name on it and shit.
exactly, like you are paying for that yourself. Like high school's different. You know, you're just there for a good time. Versus like
Yep.
university, it's like oh my god. There's
Hopefully
so
not
much
a
more
long
to it.
time too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I had
But-
more like reflection time. I found, which was good.
Yeah, I think that's like an important thing, especially how a university gets helps you out because university prepares me for like
The big
adult
world
life.
outside, right?
Yeah.
I feel like to an extent,
Yeah, to a certain extent
because you
because
still don't get any like
Well,
life skills.
you'll never be like fully prepared, right?
Yeah.
You can only be as prepared as you can possibly can.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that's what uni does too, right? Uni helps you, be critical thinkers. It helps you to, actually, further develop your like social communication skills from peer to peer or from student to like mentor or like teacher, something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But what I wanted to say is like one of our followers, fans, whatever we want to call them, they asked us the question is how do people make friends outside of post secondary? Once they finish that uni life, once they get that name with that piece of paper with their name on it and whatnot, how do they make friends and whatnot? And that's something that some of our viewers are university graduates or college graduates, and making friends does become a lot harder because you're not around people that are necessarily your age group. You're not around people who are necessarily in the same boat as you. We work at Costco and like the age difference varies drastically. I mean, we got people as young as like 19. We got people who are as old as how old is Bruce? He's like ancient. We got people who are fucking ancient out here. Okay?
Stop, man.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot harder. Like, yes, people, then, like they said before, yes, you can make friends within work and whatnot. But I personally don't like to make too many friends at work just because I don't like to shit where I sleep.
Yeah.
Work is work. I'm there to mainly just to make my money, secure my bag, and leave.
Yeah, I'm like that too. It's like a mindset like I'm there to work and nothing else. If I have a couple of like quality friends like y'all too, then that's a
what we met at
bonus,
work.
right? But the shit, but it's not really gonna pop off like that, all the time. So that's why I'm always like out there, like doing sports, like getting out there, just going to events sometimes.
Well, that's why I think like I feel like I made most of my lifelong friends in post secondary. One I have from high school, and then besides that, another one from post secondary.
Yeah. I got a couple lifelong friends for like back in the day, but that's mostly because like the history is also behind it.
That's true.
That's like a big thing, especially if you go through a lot of things in high school, and it's all like high school again. It's like all compact, so you go through a lot of things. You got homework to do. You got to deal with like people judging you. You're trying to find like who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And there's a big possibility that you don't find who you are by the time high school ends. So then you transfer all that shit to university, which was my case.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is, I think the first step that helped me to find like friends outside of like post-secondary is I know myself now. Like from university, I learn what I like, what I don't like, what I expect from myself, what I expect from other people, and do like in terms of like respect,
Yeah.
So I don't like fall into like fake friends or like bad friends. So like I know like what I want, like how people to approach me, and that makes it easier. You gotta be a friend with yourself before you can be a friend to someone else. You know what I mean? So once you figure out that step, you just kind of do what you do, and it's not like, okay, I did step one, now like looking for step two. No, step two just kind of comes. Like the thing is, I never force my friendships. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
You just agree on a certain level, and then you just hang out with a person more often if it happens to you, and then sometimes you stop hanging out with them. Sometimes you hang out with them more. It's more like it's it's kind of a weird dynamic, but that's just kind of like the flow of life, in a way. So you're just out here just trying to like benefit yourself, get your money up, be social with other people, but at the same time you can't be social with everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Who has the time and energy for that, man?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really have time and energy to maintain like the handful of friends I like to have around me.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I really have time to handle myself.
Exactly.
Man, I can't even get breakfast every single day. That's like bad, man. So
That's
I can't even
luxury.
handle other people.
That is a
Breakfast?
luxury.
Holy, that's a luxury I definitely cannot afford, my friend.
Nah, man, I'm gonna be doing a lot of brunches. I know that for a fact.
Brunches, I'm about to fucking mix all 3 meals into one, man, and call it a fucking day, bro.
So you're gonna like mix like your cereal bowl and then put like chicken inside of that shit?
Ew.
How my mom
Wow.
describes it, in Korean she's called it kebab, which is basically dog food. Is when you just mix everything into one pot, which is like how I like to eat my food, just because
What does that even mean?
I don't mind. Like I don't mind, having like noodles with like a piece of like chicken in there,
That's
some
different.
beef, spam. No, not cooked within it. Like literally just placed right on top. My mom's like, "Oh, you need classy."
That was very specific.
I'm the racial get out of here, man. You know what I mean? So basically, just to answer the question, like going off what Shami said, and if you people who know me personally, I constantly talk about this thing called organic chemistry, organic bonds. That's the secret of making friends outside post-secondary, inside just in post-secondary, anything after high school. You just have to be yourself. And yes, it's cliche. Yes, it's been repeated 1,000 times, countless times. But you have to stress that. You have to stress that within yourself every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Because without the organic chemistry, then everything's on like kind of like on a. You have to have this so that we can be friends. Without the organic chemistry, it's like a trade-off. I'm only friends with you because you give me this, and in return, I'll give you that. It's just another transaction, which isn't what friendships are. That's what you do with acquaintances. That's what you do in business. But out of friendships, people who you surround yourself with, who are, in terms of reflection of part of yourself, you need to be true to yourself. You need to be true, and you just need to be organic. You need to be who you are. Just be raw as a person. I guarantee you'll find the friends. Maybe not a whole lot. Not that you want a whole lot.
You definitely don't, trust me.
But you will find the very few and select few who are willing to put up with you, deal with you, and still love you so unconditionally it hurts.
Yeah.
Literally, it hurts. Like, the pain in my heart from, like, all the joy and fuzziness. That shit hurts sometimes, man. Like, damn, I didn't know I could be this damn loved. That's the beauty of it, just, making organic bonds and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, it's the best for your mental health too, man. Because you don't have to stress about this shit. You don't have to worry about, if I do this, would that person think of me differently? No. It's good for your mental health, man. And I can't stress enough how important mental health is.
Yeah. It really is important because you got a lot of, especially after university, man. Like we have a lot of people like us that are like dealing with depression, anxiety, and maybe not like full blown depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and the source, but more like stuff like they just don't really understand how to feel. They don't know like if what they're feeling is normal, right? And that's kind of like
It's a feeling of like you're lost-ish, like a little bit of stress as well, I feel like.
And like handling stress and everything like that, because I think that's an important thing. You also have to we also have to figure out as adults, all of us, how to figure out like, okay, is this depression or am I really just feeling some type of way about something that I'm not being honest with myself about, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing. That's why I always stress therapy. Therapy is like magical because these guys, these therapists, they don't come out like, yeah, you're depressed. Take these meds. No, they literally walk through you about like just talking to you about like your regular day, like your regular daily, like what do you do, and how are you feeling, like per se that your girl or your boy, your SO, is annoying you. They always nag you, nag this, nag that, all that stuff, right? And then you go to your therapist and you're like, man, I hate my SO. Right? A good therapist would be like, most likely won't even say anything. They'll just kind of like look at you and be like, do you like really hate your SO or like, is there something behind it, right? And maybe you're thinking like, well, no, maybe I don't hate my SO, but my SO acts like my mom. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm attributing all the aspects of like what my SO is doing with what my mom is doing. So it's kind of like the good thing about therapy is that it allows you to think for yourself. Like, are you
Yeah.
actually feeling the way that you're feeling, or are you just trying to like mesh everything together and you're trying to have a little quick fix, you know?
Yeah. Being in post-secondary, though, and being able to access, like, therapy, though, is hard. Like, it's not
very-
easy to get mental health resources
Mm-hmm.
at all. I do want to throw in a quick fact, though, just about students in Canada. So this was taken in 2018 between January to April. And they found that when it comes to the issue of, like, depression and suicide, they did a study of about over 30,000. So I put the number about 35,000 and did the math.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 9.5% of students saying that they had seriously considered taking their own lives within that period of time. And then that was approximately 3,325 people.
Wow.
And then in the 1.3% who had actually tried to commit suicide. That's about 455 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, percentages don't look a lot, but if you do the math, then that's breaking down to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of sad, actually, because it's just people out there feeling like they don't have any support. They don't know what to do. It's at that point where it's like you're at the brink of hopelessness. Like, I've been in that field at some point. Like, I dealt with depression, and yeah, the best way I explain it, like from my perspective, it's like it's a feeling like you always want to go home, even when you're home. It's like,
Okay, that's relatable. I can see that.
yeah, it's like I'm in my house right now, but why do I feel like I want to go home? Why do I feel like all I want to do is sleep? I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to like disturb them. I don't want to annoy them. And it's especially like kind of like, a big thing for men as well, because not to say that men have no support, but it's more like we have this notion like
Limited support, or that you don't experience mental health issues in the same way that men would
yeah,
do, maybe.
and it's kind of hard to talk to your guy friends about that. I'm not gonna lie, because you're just like some guys are like they're great listeners. They just listen to you, they support you. But others are just kind of like, okay, I'll listen to you for like 20 minutes and then all right, get back on your horse, bro. Like get back onto it, man. Like you're just in your feels.
Yeah, and I agree, and like this helps. This perfectly segues into our second topic, which is mental health. And honestly, the reason why, like, I'm just speaking from a male's perspective, just because I'm a guy who deals with it and is overcoming it and whatnot. It's just this big stigma in the male community about mental health. Why? It's because, let's put it this way, okay? Up until the age of 4, let's say preschool, 3, okay? Up until the age of 3, boys and girls feel the exact same way, cry the exact same amount of times, and still feel all the same issues. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the age of 4, now this is where the stigma comes into play, okay? When kids enter preschool, when they enter into the education system, they are told that men have to act a certain way. That the sign of manliness, the sign of the testosterone, male image. It's like you're not supposed to feel anything. You're supposed to be impervious to pain. Why? Because you are a pillar of your family, a pillar of society.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't the case, man.
Yeah, that's
You have
tough,
to be
man.
strong.
Exactly.
Like everyone
Like,
else.
let me put it this way, okay? So this is from Stats Canada, okay?
Yep.
Because of the stigmas, men are failed to recognize the signs of depression, okay? Such as like headaches, long-term pains, irritability, all that, right? Now, we look at, there's the Stats Canada takes us back to 2009, okay? So approximately about 238,000 deaths, okay? That occurred that year. 3,809 of them being suicides, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's 11.5 deaths per 100,000 people. And that's the suicide rate alone, okay?
This is all of Canada, this is Ontario.
Stats Canada,
Okay.
Canada. And then that year in 2009, out of the 3,890 suicides, 2,989 were committed by males. That's 76.84% roughly of the suicides being committed by men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That is a huge number. And saddens me to see that number so big. Why? Because it's it's that stigma on it in the male population, the male community.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because men feel very trapped. They feel like they can't be open with their
They
emotions.
can't
So,
be.
like, because they can't, like, their emotions will kill them, and then,
Exactly.
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
And it's like, you kind of see it too, like or like with like a lot of kind of with a lot of guys and stuff like that, especially the irritability.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big thing you kind of got to look out for. You know, someone's like very like jumpy, very irritable. Usually they used to like take a joke. I was like that, man. I'll be able to like take a joke, but when I was in like kind of like my mode, you know, I couldn't even take a joke or anything like that. I was just like,
Period.
I'll like if I like clap back, it'll be like too much. It'll be like hurtful in a way and stuff like that because I was hurting,
Exactly.
you know, and yeah, that's a big thing. I think it's also like a really big thing in African Americans as well, African American men, because it's kind of like this notion of like saying like, oh, you guys survived slavery and oppression. Guys shouldn't be depressed. You guys should never be depressed. You guys just got to overcome that. You guys are mentally weak, you know, and that's the thing, man. Like, if we're this mentally weak, then we need like some training to be mentally stronger. You
No,
know?
but I think it's because of all that intergenerational trauma over time that I feel like maybe black men are the most affected by mental health issues.
Yeah.
Because they're always taught like not to talk about it, like especially like I find like sometimes with I shouldn't generalize it, but I find sometimes white men can be a little bit more in tune with their emotions depending on your family setting. It depends on your whole home situation.
No, I
There
kind of
are
see
black
that.
men who are in touch with their emotions, but for the most part, black men aren't very in touch with their emotions because they're taught not to be.
Yeah.
And same thing with within the Asian community as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the times, like I'm gonna just say this from coming from an Asian family myself. When parents see their children are depressed or they're in a type of mood, the Asian parent response to that is, it is just a phase. They will move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that hurt me the most because I lost someone due to suicide because the family did not take it seriously. They just assumed that it was just another phase that they get over. Like it's some sort of like teenage angst and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
here's
think it's like a trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what's even crazier too? Like this, you can find this anywhere on the internet. Here are the symptoms for depression, okay? And it's just like, it's the same thing as in for women, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It is feeling sad, hopeless, or empty. It's feeling extremely tired. You have either insomnia, hypersomnia. For those of you who don't know what hyperinsomnia is, it's the condition of sleeping too much. That all you want to do is sleep. That's hypersomnia, okay? They lack the joy from the usual hobbies, and they just feel like they are alone in a room full of people.
Yeah.
It is the same thing in women, it's the same thing in men. And that's what hurts me the most, is that even though this is such common knowledge, even though this is just facts that you can see within another person, it's just not taken seriously enough.
It really is.
Yes, we grew up in this whole day and age where like people are becoming more woke, mental health awareness is on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
But to break the stigma that has towards that's on it is going to take more than just of the awareness. It takes actual self-reflection of oneself to realize that, you know what? It's not a sign of weakness to admit that you're hurting. I think it is the most courageous and strongest thing a human being can possibly do.
Yeah.
It's to admit that they are not Superman. They're not invincible to all this shit.
Yep.
That you hurt just like everyone else, man. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
People, let me tell you that it is okay to hurt. It is all right, and it's completely fine to feel like you are in pain, that you feel lost and hopeless.
Yeah. That's why I like the effort of Terry Crews, man, because football player turned action star, turned like now TV host and everything like
You
that.
play football?
Yeah, he used to play football in the NFL. This man was like wild, eh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like this guy was like the alpha males upon all alpha males. But if you look at his Twitter, I follow him on Twitter, and I love the knowledge he's spreading.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great role model for African American
Or
boys,
just black men in general.
or just black men in general. Because the one thing about him, he's not all alpha male, right?
Mm-hmm.
He actually suffered with an addiction. He suffered with pornography addiction, right?
Wow.
Right? He talked about how he was being depressed. He fights for feminist rights and everything
He
like
talked
that.
about him being sexually assaulted, which
Yep.
is hard for a lot of men to come out and say.
Yep, him being sexually assaulted, and not only that, it's just like he's not afraid to wear his feelings on his sleeve, you know. And you can name a couple other people that are like that. I know Charlemagne the God like that, not in his early career, but nowadays, like when he's older and wiser, now he has kids, he wears his emotion on his sleeves, and he speaks with so much poise and like precision that it's something you gotta look up to. Same thing with Dave Chappelle, as we were, all of us were talking about earlier. These guys wear their emotions on their sleeves, but it's not seen as weak. We assume as men, not only black men, but men everywhere. Like if you talk about your emotions, then you got too much estrogen in your system. Like
What
you
they
act
call
like
you?
a
They
little
call you a
bitch.
pussy ass bitch.
Yeah.
They call you a punk ass. They'll call you anything.
Yeah, because it's like a comparative game to them, Like, I think a lot of times when you're in high school, it's a game about who can be the manliest in your group. Because
Yeah.
if you're the alpha male,
You're top dog.
you're top dog. Biologically, you get all the girls. Biologically, you get all the success given to you because you're the man. You're doing boss shit, right? But at the same time, it's kind of detrimental because you're pushing all these emotions like to the bottom of your soul.
You're balling this shit. You're balling this shit up like it's a fucking, like a 2 liter fucking jug of fucking soda pop. That shit's gonna be shaken up from all the shit that you're trying to fucking withhold within yourself.
Yep.
And I'm telling you this right now, that shit is going to pop. It's going to explode, and it's going to be so much more painful. And to clean that shit up afterwards, speaking in this metaphor, is going to take so much more effort.
Yeah, and you know what's the worst thing, man? Because I know, like, you know about this, and I know about this, both of us. It pops off at the worst time.
Of course. Always.
Every single time. I can't tell you the amount of times that, like, I felt like I was okay in a situation, even though I was having a rough day. And just one comment, and now I'm, like, talking bad to my mom, yelling at her, And that's, like, the worst feeling, because she didn't do anything to me. She's just saying, like, a simple statement, like, oh, just do the dishes and everything like that. Next thing you know, I pop off, right? And then you're thinking, like, where did this come from? Well, technically, in my experience, it came from me because I'm pushing all my emotions down and I'm not acknowledging the fact that I might need help. And again, like to reiterate what Matt says, it's never like a weakness to need help. Everyone has help. You don't walk on your own 2 feet on your own, Either you got your parents to help you or you got like a ledge or a chair, You don't speak on your own. You don't breathe, like you don't learn things on your own technically, Everything is learned from someone else. You need people, right?
We're human beings. We were designed and created to thrive off of social interaction.
Yeah. And plus, no one gives you an award for doing shit yourself. They really don't. Like,
No.
you can state it, but, like LeBron didn't win, like, the NBA championship himself. Like, we want to act like, oh, he carried that whole Cavaliers team. No, there's still 11 guys on that team, bro.
Yeah.
Same thing with sports, like in all sports. Same thing with all like types of work, innovations, innovations that they make. There is a team behind all of things because it's hard to do something alone.
Yeah. Even being an entrepreneur, I'm going to start off on my own. I'm going to make my own company. I'm going to do my own startup. You only become successful because you realize that you need the support and help from others around you to make you who you want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer going to speak upon just the generalization of men, just in general. If you think that emotions and feeling emotions is a weakness, then you were just, and I'm sorry to say, you were just ill-educated, my friends.
Yeah.
Because knowing that you are hurting, knowing that you feel something deep inside is step one. Realizing that shit and then owning up to it, coming to terms with it is step two. And then being proud that, no matter how I feel, no matter how much I hurt, all that shit made me who I am today, and I am happy to be the person that I am today. I'm happy to be the person that survived to all these fucking obstacles and tribulations, and I came out still breathing, still functioning normal, and I would never be prouder. That's what happened to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was in the biggest rut ever. I was just full of self-loathing. And because early on, I was just taught that emotions, again, is a sign of weakness. That as a man, you have to, stand up straight so you can, protect and shield people that you love and whatnot. But I realized that the second I started realizing and admitting that I felt some shit, and I started to realize that I need to do something with that and own up to that shit, I became such a happier person.
Mhm.
Yes, I still hurt here and there. Everyone hurts here and there. You kidding me? I got a fucking cut on my finger and this shit's fucking bothering me right now.
Mhm.
Shit's gonna hurt, man. It's gonna come that way all throughout life.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
not that saying the patch is greener on the other side. I'm not gonna say time heals all wounds. Time doesn't heal shit.
Mm.
What time does is scars. It allows that wound to scar so that you can come to terms with it. Yes, again, it's gonna throb, but you know that's still part of you.
Mhm.
That's the beautiful thing of that game, my friends.
Yeah.
Is realizing that it's part of who you are and how you use that to your, let's say, advantage, to your benefit. That's the game plan for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And another thing is like, you said like you gotta be a pillar and everything like that. How about we think about it like this? For the men out there and also the women, because let's actually do both sides. Let's say y'all got a family, y'all got kids, you're with your SO, right? And you're hurting inside, right? You know there's something there inside of you that's like eating you on the inside. And now it's splashing around and it's going and it's affecting your kids, it's affecting your relationship with your husband or wife. It's just affecting everything. Is keeping it inside actually like the most courageous thing you can do? Because honestly, if you keep it inside, there's a high chance that you break your whole family system and you're not going to do anything that you want to accomplish, right?
And keeping it aside is just another. It's just another form of running away.
Yeah, it is. Like, would you rather just keep all of this inside, just bubbling, and have it like pop off at the worst time, and knowing that you're gonna hurt other people in the process, or would you rather wear your emotion on your sleeve, tell people what's actually what's up, be real with yourself, and just try to heal from that. I've seen a lot of families break up because of mental illness in the family. Parents with autistic kids, people with bipolar disorder. Like they just couldn't handle like the situation. But that's also because of the fact that they weren't really real with themselves. They weren't. They were just kind of like walking with this kind of like weight on their back and not allowing anyone to hold it. When you're trying to raise a family unit, it's the whole family raising that one unit, man. It's not just one. It's not one man. It's not one woman. It's everybody. Everybody got a role to play. Everyone got a part. We're a team here, bro. And that's like not only for family. That's not only for family. That's like your workplace. That's your friend group. And again, no one really gonna congratulate you for doing this on your own.
Yeah.
Because if you do everything on your own, you keep everything inside. Who's gonna know about it?
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's actually move on to mental health and university students, because that's a big thing. Like run that back. I think there's like a big pressure to be successful and get like a lucrative job after university, after graduation, and that affects a lot of people, because.
And then even not even having the resources at school, because like there's all these pressures to find a job and everything, but then it's like, does university give you any resources that's going to make it easy for you to find a job post-graduation, or are you just going to graduate, have your little piece of paper, and then you're just left on your own?
Yeah, do something you don't want to do or anything like that, right?
Being at school makes it definitely harder.
Yeah.
So, because you have all, like, once you graduate and whatnot, you have this, kind of this subconscious pressure put upon you. It's like, oh, now once you're done school, now you have to get a good job. Once you have a good job, do you have all the nice things you have? And one of the biggest things is actually living space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because once you graduate, everyone expects you to now you have to move out and live on your own. And that kind of just segues into our third topic, which is unaffordable housing. Affordable housing is not affordable, okay?
It's not.
It's unaffordable. And let's say, I have a fucking stat from this too. This straight off the bat. For all those people wanting to rent or look into a place in 2020, y'all are kind of fucked. I'm going to tell you right now. And the reason is because Toronto is jacking up the rent pricing by 2.2%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people who don't know be like, oh, 2.2%, that's nothing. That's not even 5. 2.2%, that's the highest increase since 2013. In 6 years, this is the highest increase the rent has fucking ever taken, man. And that shit hurts, man. Because if you don't have a place to live, people just assume that people just automatically go to the fact that I'm gonna be fucking broke on the streets. I have nowhere to live. What am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Because your home is your sanctuary, right? I've been taught this at a very young age, that your home is your sanctuary. That your home is your very own slice of safe haven, a slice of heaven on this earthly plane. You know what I mean? Especially with all this unaffordable housing and whatnot. It's a big stressor and whatnot.
I want to quote this. It's a Habitat for Humanity article, but it's about the financial barriers in getting a home, and it says the ultimate barrier in investment in affordable housing, according to a report released by UBC Sauder School of Business, is the risk. By definition, affordable housing is rented or sold at below market value. And in Toronto, the break-even point for a rental unit is $2,200 a month to match the return on the investment of the unit. Unfortunately, affordability in Toronto is closer to $930 a month. So Torontonians can only generally afford rent to be $930 a month, but rent has to sit at $2,200 for for the landlord to even make their money.
Exactly.
There's a huge divide there. People are not making the money to be able to afford to live in Toronto. Even outside of Toronto, Mississauga, Brampton's more developed now, Oakville, Milton. You can't move out to those places anymore because it's still expensive.
Exactly.
You have to go to Kitchener.
Yeah, who wants to
London,
go?
who wants to go out there?
Yeah, who wants to drive an hour and a half plus just so that you can find a place to live, so they can find a place to lay their head at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and all the jobs too are in central GTA, but you have to live outside of the GTA. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So on top of rent being expensive, now you have to take into consideration, travel expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a car, you got to pay for gas. At some point, you got to pay for maintenance of your vehicle so that you can get to your job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you take public transit. Public transit is not a cheap thing either. You have to cough up $7 $7 to go there and back again for the most part.
Yeah, Nick and I were talking about it, and Ubering and public transportation are about equal at this point.
Yeah.
The money you're going to spend on the Uber is the money you're going to spend transferring between Mississauga, TTC, whatever else you have to get on GO Train. GO Transit's so expensive. Going anywhere is starting at $7.
Yeah.
One way.
That's as wild as hell.
It's cheaper for me to Uber to work than to bus to work.
That's crazy, really?
Yeah.
What? That's insane to me, yo. Mostly because there's not gonna be a lot of jobs in the GTA area anymore. So I don't understand, and there's not really any jobs outside the GTA that are very lucrative as well. You know?
Yeah.
So
what do they have out there? Nothing.
I mean,
There's
industrial
jobs,
industrial jobs, right? Jobs are adhere to the the area, but at the same time, it's just it's kind of you have, if you're in the GTA, you have to get a job here in the GTA.
You do, because
right?
the price of gas, you're not driving 2-3 hours a day both ways. Imagine spending 5 hours a day in your car driving to work.
Yeah,
or even 4 hours a day in your car driving.
Yeah, and if your car's not built for that, you're done.
Mind, man. I would lose my fucking marbles, bro.
100%. Oh, bad. So there are numerous government regulatory and planning barriers to affordable housing development. So if you take Halifax as an example, developers highlight specific challenges, including zoning bylaws, development fees, lack of coordination on part of the government, and dealing with the staff at the municipal level. So these are kind of the barriers that they see with affordable housing. So the zoning bylaws, and development fees, that's one thing. If it costs too much to even develop these places, then you can't really get any affordable housing, right? And if we don't have any coordination from the government, which is what I'm actually mad at, because the government's supposed to take care of its people, but if they have no coordination with these social services, then what the hell is the point? We can't make houses on our own because of again the zoning bylaws.
Well, yeah, but also I don't know, the government probably, because those affordable housing units are always government subsidized. You know what I mean? So these people aren't paying the full rent. So even if it's in an area where they could be getting X amount of money out of it, they're not going to allow you to put that affordable housing unit there when they could save that for a condo that's going to make them way more money. You know what I mean?
True.
Like I said, that's why affordable housing is not affordable. It's unaffordable. Because, again, it's that social cultural divide between the ones who prosper and the ones who struggle.
I would say it's socioeconomic.
Socioeconomic, yeah. It's because the thing is yes, the rich don't have to worry about a damn thing. If anything, the rich get richer. They find ways to become richer, right? So they're taken care of. It's the people who are struggling, who are trying to make ends meet. The government should be really taking a look at those guys and be we need to help these people, because a lot of them are are part of the workforce that keeps this fucking country going, keeps this province going. You know what I mean? And if they make housing unaffordable, if they can't offer all these, you know, subsidized housing units just so people can have a place to stay and so they can continue to work, then it's just gonna cause an even greater divide. I'm amazed that people haven't fucking rioted over this shit, man.
Yeah, that's
Like,
That's wild.
the amount of homeless people I see, it fucking breaks my heart, man. I come from Vancouver, which had one of the highest fucking homeless populi per capita.
Really? I
Our
didn't know
east
that.
in Vancouver, our East Hastings area is insane. We were one of the first provinces to introduce safe injection sites. We're also one of the first provinces to be hit by the fucking whole.
What do you mean safe injection? Like a safe place for you to
Safe
inject
place
heroin?
to put heroin, any of that stuff. First province to
Why
implement
would
that
they
into our
have
cities.
that?
Oh
It's
no,
not
it's like
promoting.
yes and no. Like
Yes
with
and
the
no.
safe injection thing that he's talking about, you have like doctors that
Doctors, like actual like licensed like professionals who
That-
administer this to you, so you don't overdose.
so
They know that they can't get rid of the drug problem completely.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. The underworld is too big and too vast.
Yeah.
So what they do is that, you know what? Instead of letting all these people who don't have the proper care, proper, you know, facilities to, you know, do this to a certain safe degree, let us at least introduce a place where we can regulate it to a certain amount so that the fucking death toll doesn't fucking skyrocket.
Okay.
yep, yeah. So
You know what I mean? Because, like, right now, even Vancouver, like, that was, like, one of the first places to get hit by the fentanyl crisis.
oh my gosh, I forgot about.
Wow.
Yeah.
You told me this too, yeah.
Exactly. And thank God that at the same time, too, Vancouver was also for the first place to administer the fentanyl vaccine.
Mm.
It's basically a 15-minute program that you go in for free. You become registered to carry the fentanyl vaccine kit, like this survival kit, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Or if you see someone with a fentanyl overdose, you can actually potentially save their life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I all again because
My friend Mason is certified to get that training. So if anybody like
15 minutes and it's free.
yeah.
But again,
Wow.
this becomes for me personally, this feels like it comes from the lack that people don't have a safe place to live. So because they don't have a place to live, they're stressed. So what do people do when they're stressed? They go find a fucking vice.
They get high.
Yeah.
Yeah, like up north, like on the reserves, like because like price of living cost of living, sorry, is so expensive, and they have like very minimal resources for like anything. They just turn to drugs because
Yeah, drugs and alcohol. Trust me, it's
That's
one,
it. What else
one of
do
the
they do?
longest running vices is in history itself, man.
Yeah. So like another challenge that like the government's facing is that, well, basically developers are facing like, the city lacks an updated inventory on housing stock, which is crazy to me. Like think about if like if Loblaws or Costco didn't update their like inventory stock, so you don't know how many Cheerios they got. They don't know any like how
isn't that
much.
someone's like whole job? Like isn't that like a department that's
Ex-
supposed to like take care of that?
Exactly. It's supposed to be someone's job, but apparently they lack an updated inventory stock. So basically, it's either two things that are happening probably. Either people are registering for homes and that's not getting updated to the system,
Okay.
So maybe there's like some fraudulent accounts there. Or there's so many people registering for homes that they can't keep up with the current system.
or the system could be flawed.
Yeah, or that system can be flawed as well. So if you have like a robust inventory system, it enables like officials to help monitor like the physical conditions and replacement values of homes. So now they know exactly what they're getting into with the situation, right? So, but it's pretty lengthy in like a timeline, So like if you're trying to like that's the thing with like systems. Like if you're trying to overhaul the whole system, it takes a while. Like think about like what's happening with Obama and Trump and everything like that, Republicans and Democrats, right? Like it took 8 years for Obama to even like set up certain programs, and now that they're teared down again, you got to restart from the beginning, or you have to find a new system or a new program in order to help out other people. So it's a hard thing. Yeah, but basically like what Zaria said, the break-even point. Sorry, I'm eating a fry right now. On a rental unit.
Loudest crunch I've ever heard.
Yes, sir.
That was deafening.
I'm hungry, bro. Look, the break-even point on a rental unit is $2,200 a month. To match return on investment, the unit is sold at a market value. So the affordability in Toronto is it's closer to $930 a month. So
Like Zaria said, which is fucking absurd.
Mm-hmm. So like but here's some myths that people like kind of state though. Like they say like, oh well, Housing compared to other social issues is not that vital. You know, it's not at the top of the list. But if we do have affordable housing, we got increased employment opportunities. You know, 60% reduction in use of food banks by Habitat partner companies. So like, people don't have to go to food banks because they don't have to worry about like paying rent and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
Improve health behaviors like smoke cessation, increased physical activities, a greater community and social engagement, you know, and better educational incomes due to lower dropout rates of kids having to drop out to help out their parents pay off the rent, you know, pay off electricity, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's crazy about that too is like the amount of YouTube videos I've seen, or like the child, you know, helps pay off, you know, parents' mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see the reaction on the parents' face, you know, just so happy and so filled with like tears of joy, it warms my heart. But the fact that that's something that is viewed so as such like a high accomplishment also kind of breaks my heart too, because being able to live comfortably in your own house shouldn't have to be a fucking daunting task with a fucking price tag on it.
Yeah.
There should be other things like building a new house. That should be an even greater accomplishment. You know what I mean? Not just paying off the mortgage for your parents that they've struggled for how many X years, just so that you have a roof over your head and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Goes along with that. It goes along with one of the myths too. It would build a better community if, you know, housing was affordable and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people don't have one of the biggest stressors, you know, weighing upon their shoulders. They now have the energy, the time, and the resource to actually focus that onto more important things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like mental health, you know, giving back to community, doing this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, so myth number 2 is affordable housing is a problem for someone else. Now, according to Jonathan T.M. Reckford, housing is as important to community health as it is to individual health. Investing in affordable housing attracts new businesses, creates jobs, and many times make communities safer. When these investments are absent, communities struggle and the ripple effect is devastating. Eventually, those ripples affect everybody. So it's not just like a one person thing like, oh, I can afford housing, so I don't have to worry about this stuff. No, if you can afford housing, you should support like affordable housing in order to help out your community. It's a big thing. Again, we a team out here. You know?
But people have a misconception about what affordable housing means. When you say affordable housing, they're thinking, okay, government subsidized housing. They're thinking, okay, this is going to be ghetto people. It's going to be a mess. Mm-hmm. They don't want it in their area. They're allowed to say, no, we don't want this affordable housing development in my backyard.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like not in my backyard thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is up to the government's job, politicians' job, in order to help people understand what this is, what this means, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to do that when, you know, one, politicians are lying just to get their own little social points across. And two, when they're not even saying anything. You know? That's a problem. That's a real problem. If any politician, I don't know why a politician will listen to this anyways, but, you know, by chance, if it gets in here, if any politician listening to this and wondering why kids don't vote, younger people don't vote, why more people are not voting, we don't trust you.
Yeah.
Y'all been lying. Like, what did y'all expect? Like, oh, I mean, I lied about this, but, you know, I brought this in here. No, like, if you were lying, then we won't trust you. We won't vote for you. This is happening in the U.S. It's happening in the U.K., and it's happening, and it's kind of happening in Canada. The reason why Trump and Boris Johnson got elected, not only because, you know, it spoke to certain people, but because they weren't really lying to the people that they were supporting. They were just saying it how it is. They weren't beating around the bush. They didn't have like sneaky tendencies, you know. Even though Trump was lying, let me get this across.
He won because a lot of people didn't vote.
Yeah, he won because a lot of
people were like unhappy with the candidates.
Yeah, and to the people that he did vote, he adhered to their how can I say, ideology. Yeah. You know, without lying to them. You know, they're like without beating around the bush, because you know those people, they don't like people beating around the bush, right? So. That's why they don't like Hillary Clinton, because she's a liar. Yeah, she's lying. Hillary, that's why you lost. You lied. Duh. Anyways.
Back to the housing.
Back to the housing. Home ownership isn't for low-income people. So again, from my man Reckford, a few years ago, home ownership was widely and when wisely encouraged. Now, many argue that purchasing a home is a bad idea for low and even income families. Rental is being touted as a better option, and the reality is we need the full spectrum of housing products, and that people of many income levels can be successful homeowners. So, what do y'all think about that?
You can if housing was more affordable. Like if the process in obtaining a home is easier, I feel like more people would buy a house. Because now if you look at the average price of a house, even if it's like a 2 or 3 bedroom townhouse, you're looking at like close to $1 million. And then you have to take out a mortgage that's like $1 million mortgage. You have to insure that mortgage. That's money on top of that. You have to insure all your contents inside the house. Like it's expensive to own a house. I'm not gonna come fresh out of university and even 5 years post grad be able to put maybe I'll be able to put a down payment on a house, but to like buy it outright, no.
Mm-mm. That's not
And
happening.
like, do you really want to be in a cycle of like paying off your mortgage for like 25 years? Not really.
Again, that's another life
Because if
sentence.
if you enter into, okay, let's say you enter into a 10-year mortgage, you think you're gonna pay off your mortgage in 10 years. Your monthly thing is gonna be ridiculous because you have to pay off that whole house in 10 years instead of 25, which is like a lifetime to pay it off. You're like just set up. Like it's, I don't know. My grandfather always says, oh, buy a house, get a mortgage, don't rent, because if you rent, the house is never yours. That's the only thing with renting is that it's not yours versus even if you are living in debt, the house is yours.
Yeah,
and you could have someone move into your basement and help you pay off the mortgage, like if you have a basement, or even rent out a room. But that's if you don't mind sharing your space with someone else.
Yeah, people don't want to share this.
You know what I mean? After graduation, sharing, we're done. I'm
No,
not in
thank you.
university anymore.
I shared my time and very little effort I had to listen to y'all bullshit. None of that.
No, thank you.
No, thank
I'm
you.
not
I don't need-
babysitting. My house.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, man. Because like what? Like your grandfather bought a house in like what year? Like era
Before
decade.
2000?
Bought a house?
Yeah. Did you buy a house?
Oh, he bought a house here. Yeah, when they moved here, he bought a house in like Malton area.
What decade?
It would have been
Early
70s.
Okay, so that's like completely. That's something completely.
Yeah, that's
different.
when like freaking houses were like $20,000.
Yeah.
Man.
But you were getting paid like 20 cents an hour. But 20 cents also stretched a lot further.
Yeah.
Way further. Are you kidding me?
Way further, Way further, yo.
That's when they had penny candies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my grandmother working, she was making like I think like $35 or $45 a week. My grandfather's making maybe like $50 or $60 a week.
Yeah, which sounds crazy now, but then you have to look at the prices like of what everything was back then, right?
Yeah.
So like inflation,
Yeah,
that was a
I've
big
been
thing.
saying inflation's a bitch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as rude as girls' periods, man. I'm
I
kidding.
feel
That was
personally
a joke.
attacked.
That was
You have
a
a death
joke.
wish. You have a death wish.
Man, I can't even say a joke no more. Damn, man. It's about to be crushed hour, not rushed
Oh my
hour.
God.
Crushed hour out here,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh.
Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you crazy? Are you dumb? Pick one.
Why did I say
It
all
might be all three, man. I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
But yeah, no, but like this whole like renting is like a better option. Like crazy as it is, like I was dating a girl at the time that was part of like Amway. For those of you who don't know what Amway is, it's essentially a pyramid scheme where you have your own online store and you need people to buy your products, and in turn those people will have their own store who will have other people buying their own products. Yes, it was crazy, but I did learn one valuable thing. Is that when I went to one of these conferences with the girl at the time, the guest speakers that were speaking, successful pyramid schemers, they put it out like this, is that owning a house is everyone's dream. Everyone wants, the white picket fence with, the traditional nuclear family, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, due to inflation, due to just the cost of living just skyrocketing and whatnot, living in your house comes with a big price tag called debt. So what they said is that don't be in debt, instead rent until you are able to actually afford a house. Then buy a house at that point. But again, it comes with a whole lengthy time period. You have to invest how many amount of years into just renting so that you can actually afford to, buy a house.
Well, you gotta think like what's better? Expedience is it's a fickle thing. When you want something here right now, you get it, but you always get like a little bit of side effects there here and there, right? experience is like, would you rather be like experience in your purchase and then you have to deal with the losses like later in life, or would you rather like work at it slowly and then at some point finally you get it right?
It's hard. Certain things are like it's more satisfying to work towards it and pay it off versus like sometimes in the moment purchases feel pretty nice sometimes.
Exactly.
Like instant gratification.
Retail therapy, it's a thing, and I'm one who dabbles and partakes in retail therapy, because it feels nice.
Yeah.
You're getting something for yourself.
I love it.
And it comes with no price. It doesn't come with a debt that comes out. Well, for the most part, it doesn't come with the price tag called debt afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're renting clothes. You don't rent clothes. It's not like you don't rent food. You don't rent any of that shit.
Yo, imagine
you
that
buy
shit,
it
bro.
off if you can afford to, and you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Why? Because you know that you worked hard enough so that you can afford to do these things.
Yeah.
Relatively stress free.
Yeah. Yo, imagine if you actually have to rent clothes though.
I would.
That'd be
fucking
wild.
I wish I could just rent clothes because sometimes like I will like buy a whole new wardrobe every year. Like I have a problem. I just spent like $100 and something on Fashion Nova and got bare clothes. Like
You know, if men started renting clothes, they go to that OVO store in like Square One, and they put, every time they have a date, they'll just like rent a T-shirt and shit.
Like I wish I just when I'm done with it for the season, give it back. I'm done. Thanks. It's been nice.
It might be good. It might be bad. Maybe that's another topic.
I just shop too much. That's fine. My sister needs to learn how to rent clothes. I
Rent
moved
clothes.
out. She has her closet full, my closet full, and a closet at her boyfriend's full. How do you have 3 closets of stuff?
Yeah, that's a hoarder.
Yeah, that's hoarding.
She hoarding a little bit, man. She gotta go do spring cleaning, like go through all that. Oh my gosh.
That was crazy.
I don't know. Like, renting is, for the most part, it seems like a pretty okay idea. But at the same time, like, I do want to own my own house, or even move into like an apartment, a condo, something like that. Just have something that's mine, so I can do whatever the fuck I want to the walls.
Mhm.
I can do whatever the fuck I want with the fucking feng shui of the fucking living space and shit.
Feng shui.
Feng shui, feng shui. I'm not Chinese, so I don't know how the fuck I actually say it. Granted, a black man telling me this is actually almost a blow to the ego, but
Kata.
I'ma just let that one fly by. But yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. It's just.
What do you think you're gonna do? You think you'll rent or you'll buy?
I might rent.
Initially, I'm gonna. Initially, I'll most likely consider renting, but if I start now and start saving enough so I can put a down payment on like an apartment or a condo or something like that, and I can do that and still be able to comfortably live my life with my significant other with shorty, then by all means I'm game.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
for how I'm looking at it, just because I know inflation's gonna price of living's gonna raise, I know shit's gonna skyrocket.
Yeah, raised by like 2.3 already, eh?
Because we were saving towards a down payment for like even like a townhouse, but now it's like, oh my god, like how much is that down payment gonna be?
Exactly.
It's gonna be expensive.
Hella expensive. Like it's gonna be
Like
wild.
$100K.
Yeah.
And there's no more first time buyers home insurance or the discount.
Which is so stupid because that's what made people actually
That's
want
what
to.
encouraged people to buy homes was okay, like I'm a first time buyer, like I'll get a little bit of a discount,
Yeah. They
Yeah,
didn't even
and
tell us
that's-
that, eh?
If 2.2% increase to rent is crazy, just imagine how much even like fucking 3% discount would be just off of fucking your living space. Because living spaces average about fucking 6 figures, right?
Yeah.
Any living space to buy
Yeah.
is roughly 6 figures. Getting like 3% reduced off that shit is a fucking hefty thing, and it's pretty favorable.
Yeah, it is actually.
Fuck the government taking away first-time home buyers. They're pieces of shit, man.
Honestly,
I guess
just
maybe they just saw more people renting than buying. Because even our generation, less people are having kids, less people are getting married.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like my next door neighbor, like they're almost close to their 40s. Like my next door neighbor and his wife, they just had their first kid.
In their 40s?
Literally like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
You're so close to retirement and you just went right back to day one.
Exactly. So you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because they spent so long, trying to make sure that all the mortgage on the house is paid off, more everything of all the other fucking expenses that they have to pay for and shit. Fucking now people are having kids late because why? That's just how the game is played out right now. Like it's in order to have a kid, you need to have money comfortably enough so that your kid can have a life and live a life
that you would want them to live.
Oh yeah, kids are like $1 million investments.
Yeah, people used to say it used to be 500,000 literally 10 years ago. Kid from 0 to 18 minimum just to live comfortably, 500,000. Now in this day and age, you're not even a fucking millionaire with $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to think about, you know, feeding the
Diapers,
kid,
formula.
diapers, formula,
Toys, stroller.
toys, you know, like third party knowledge sources, like, you know, math help textbooks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, let's say your kid goes to private school. I went to private school in Vancouver called Stratford Hall.
Mm-hmm.
My tuition was like 2-3 times more than the average college tuition.
Yeah, it's like my mom was looking at putting us in private school here. It was like $10K a kid before textbooks.
My God,
Before
yo, that's-
textbooks, not even including a damn
Not even
fucking
including
uniform.
the yet.
You know how expensive that damn uniform was? That uniform was like at least like fucking $300, bro. So you have to get a blazer with a tie and a dress shirt, and then for some you gotta get the polo. Then
And you have to get more than one shirt. You have to get more than one pair of pants.
And then you have to get the pair of pants with the the school logo on them, and then you have to get like these shitty ass dress shoes that they fucking recommend and shit.
See, I never went to private school. It was just like the Catholic school, but I know that shit is expensive too. Like just as expensive.
What?
Like you know
You don't
Gonzaga?
have to pay to go to Catholic school.
You don't have to go to Catholic school?
Catholic's like public school. It's just Catholic.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like something
Oh
different.
no, you just pay for your uniform.
Yeah.
And,
no,
and
that's
maybe you
what
have
I'm saying.
auxiliary fees or something. But every school, even in high school, like I went to public high school, I had auxiliary fees.
Oh,
I did
okay.
private school in Jamaica, but I came here and did public school for 1 year.
Oh, I did not know that actually.
Yeah, it was cheaper to do private school in Jamaica. It was $6K a year for both of us, including textbooks and uniform.
Oh, okay. No, I just
So-
hated the uniforms.
Yeah, my uniform was so.
Yeah.
It wasn't so ugly, but like it could have been better.
It's better-
Also
it's
wear
better
the
than
same,
Zaga.
like subpar thing 5 days a week. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
You don't have to worry about getting like dressed. You don't have to worry. Oh, what am I gonna wear today? Dash on the same shirt, same skirt.
Yeah, I just wanted the better like colored shirt though, because they had like a navy blue and then orange and then yellow. I'm
Oh
like,
no, my shirt was white.
Yeah, see,
Imagine wearing a white shirt. Why would you do that?
yeah. I mean, some of these Catholic schools out here in Mississauga, they're wearing like green shirts, like the navy blue shirts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
St. Father Gates.
Father Gates, man.
I think they are what you call it, green.
Yeah, it's just green. It's just
Like a
green on
forest
them.
green.
Yeah. So that one's not that bad. It's just like I just didn't like the fucking stripe that Zaga had, man. It was just like it was
Yeah,
just weird.
Zaga uniforms were gross.
It was like ugh, right? And then all the guys were wearing Air Force One, so now we're all
Y'all got
thuggy.
but y'all had at least got the fucking whole like rugby polos and shit. You know what I mean? Like the collar with like. A
Yeah,
They're
but
not
we can-
comfortable. Nick went to Pocock and he's like,
No, they're not comfortable at all, and you can only wear them in the summertime. You
Yeah.
can't wear them in wintertime. In wintertime, you have to wear the long sleeves. Those itchy long sleeve like shirts, like miss me with that, man.
Yeah, like even say this, like fucking, and then fucking people want to fucking buy a house and shit. Like Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's hot out here for a pimp.
Yeah, it is hard out here for a pimp, indeed, my friend.
Yep.
Indeed.
Anyways, we have reached near the end of our podcast. Anyone want to say some last sparing things to end off the season?
I don't know. Just because we talk about mental health and just because I'm a big advocate for it and I want people to better themselves in every way possible. If you're ever feeling down, if you're ever feeling alone, if you ever just feel just so hopeless and whatnot, there is a toll-free telephone line called Crisis Service Canada. Okay, and we're gonna put this in the descriptions, obviously, just because people can't remember things when they're first said. You know what I mean? But it's 1-833-456-4566. It's a toll-free number that anyone can call any time of the day, and they can get all the support they need. They can help. This could potentially save a life. It's your own life, someone else's life that you may know. So, again, everyone's hurting. You don't have to feel like you're the only one going through this. Everyone's going through this shit, my friends. Everyone's going through something. So you're not alone, and everyone's here. You have people, at least a handful, that are willing to support you and love you so unconditionally that only wants you to be better.
All right, but how about you, Zarya?
Me, I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in this season. I had a good time. It was very fun. We had one interesting guest, but we had lots of conversation just with people, just getting involved. Thanks for everyone's support because it's been amazing. And to all the listeners in Portugal, I don't know what's going on over there, but you guys are loving us in Portugal, so thanks for listening.
I wish I knew
Really
some Portugal
appreciate
words.
it.
I don't know no Portuguese, but thank you in Portuguese. Only thing I want to say is thank you guys for listening. This project's been like a small. It started as a small project. We all just started talking about it, like sparingly, and the fact that we actually got to go in the summer, it's Feels pretty great, actually. We're looking to continue it more, so this is not the last you're hearing from us, but I do like to thank all of you guys on behalf of all of us. We'd like to thank all of you guys for listening in, tuning in, giving us feedback, seeing what we can do better, see what we're doing worse.
Giving us new topics.
Yep,
Got
yep.
some interesting topics.
Yep. And again, to reiterate what Matt said, you're not alone out here. We suffer, all of us, like every single one of us. Every time you think like, oh man, this guy got it good, or oh man, this girl got it so good, it's not really the case.
It's not a race out here, people.
No.
It's not a race. Like
y'all will cross that finish line when you can cross it.
like a poor, like a very rich man and a hobo, they both got money problems. It's just a different set of problems, you know. It's just like different circumstances.
Yeah.
So never think like you're the only one just like suffering out here, because you'll be surprised. You never know what someone is actually going through until they tell you. So yeah, you're not alone. Thank you for listening. And any last shout outs? No? Yeah.
Shout out my sister because she listens. Shout out all my friends who are listening. Shout out my mom who just finally followed us on Instagram.
Yay!
I don't think she knew what was going on. But,
How about your cousin, the one that's off, traveling?
she
Where's she at?
is in Indonesia right now. She's in Bali with her mom.
Ooh.
Damn,
Yeah, her mom
she
went
is
to
on
Visa.
one long ass fucking spiritual journey, whatever the heck.
Yeah,
she's
she's
all
doing.
around
in
the
Bali.
world.
And then she's moving back to Malaysia after for a bit.
Mm.
So she's not coming home. I thought she was coming home, but she changed her mind.
Wow.
Staying in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So, because she likes tattooing now. That's her thing.
Ah.
So,
So she tattoos, right?
yeah. So if
Okay.
you're in Asia,
Okay.
you need a tattoo, go to @pennytrains. She'll give you a tattoo.
Yeah, I just like the shout out to all my friends from university. Shout out to Justin. I see you out there. Finally listen to my podcast, even though you're never on Instagram. And again, thank you all of you guys for listening to the podcast. It started as a little project, and who knows, this might be something bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
I have one more shout out actually, because
Oh.
he always listens. I never shout him out. Wayne, I know you're listening. Thank you so much. You always give me good feedback, and I know you care a lot. So thanks. I hope you're having a great time and enjoy quitting your job because you deserve a lot better.
Wayne, you a G. You are a G.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. What about you?
I just want to shout out to my homeboy Alex Bernard. This man constantly reposts all of our stories,
Mad
Every
support.
single
all
time,
of
bro.
our posts.
And Jose.
And
Jose.
those two,
Yeah.
you two guys are constantly, trying to get our names out there.
Mm.
And I want to say this is, like these guys said, this is a project that the three of us have started. But as much as the project is for us, it's a project for you guys as well. Because without you guys, we wouldn't even have the ambitions or the drive to even continue doing this. I mean, 5 episodes in, again, we're not here for the viewer counts. We're not here initially for the money or whatever. We're here just because we want to do something. We want to, do something more than just the average and mundane.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys again for just, tuning in, for, supporting us. And I hope you will continue to support us and tune in with us as we start in on the next season in the fall. So, yeah.
All right. And this has been the Rush Hour Podcast, and we out here. We'll see you next season.
Deuces.
Ciao.
Bye.